Hey there. Hey, Kyle, TalkGeek.com, my vlog. I want to talk about this book haul. I spent $36 including tax and change there. 36 and change including tax for 40 books that I got from Goodwill, Second and Charles, and Dollar Tree. So I just want to show off some of the stuff that you can get at these places if you're willing to go looking. I often get asked by people like my grandfather or my wife, like, "Hey, where'd you find that?" Like, "Oh, I went looking for it at Goodwill or Salvation Army or some other secondhand store." Or, "Oh, believe it or not, Dollar Tree had it." I got a lot of brand new hardback books from Dollar Tree in this pile. Um, there's a lot of cool stuff you can get. So, I've got the novelization of Revenge of the Sith. Okay, let me move this out of the way so I got a place to put these ones that we go through. I've got Lord of Chaos by Robert Jordan. I've got The Rising Shadow by Robert Jordan. Alright, this is book 4 of the Wheel of Time series. Right here, and this one's book 6. I also have another one of the Wheel of Time series that I got from another haul. I'm trying to get them all. This one is book 2, The Great Hunt. So I have books 1 and 2. And 4 and 6. So I've got some holes to fill there, but that's just some of the fun of looking around. I got these, those 3 were from one store. 2, 4, and 6 were all from one store. Book 1 was from a different store. Look at this. Book 7 of the Wheel of Time, A Crown of Swords, and book 5, The Fires of Heaven. So I still need book 3. Book 3 will get me 1 through 7, so I'm going to be on the lookout for that. Xenocide by Orson Scott Card. These are, I see it's a Tor science fiction. These ones are fantasy novels, Tor fantasy. There's a lot that I'm just guessing based on the cover, which this one really attracted me because a lot of the fantasy novels that I read growing up had covers like this. Wizard's Hall by Jane Yolen was a big influence on me. That was back before the Harry Potter book was out. For anybody who's a big Harry Potter fan. This one, Ars Magica, just the artwork of it reminded me of that, so I picked it up. I read the inside cover. I was like, yeah, this looks like something I would read. And for $1 or less, I'll get it. Nice little hardback. The Dilbert Principle. Scott Adams, he's got a lot of divisive views these days on political things, but I love the Dilbert comics, and I don't disagree with everything he says politically. This is a cubicle's eye view of bosses, meetings, management fads, and other workplace afflictions. The Dilbert Future book is like crazy how spot on it is. It talks about a 21st century depression as a result of North Dakota, which if you're in the oil industry, that's real. And it talks about how politics will evolve into just people with bad hair talking loudly. And then you're like, oh, Trump versus Bernie Sanders. This is just crazy how he called this stuff 20 years ago. 1995. He writes this book about stuff that's happening in 2016, 17, 18. It's just crazy. Dilbert Principle. The Nebula Awards Showcase, Best Sci-Fi and Fantasy. I like these. This one's from 2001. It's a compilation. This is the 35th year, but it's got work from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different authors. So there's probably 13 different stories in here. But let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yep. 13, maybe 14 if you count the intro. I'm not sure how much of a story the intro is there, but at least 13 stories in this book. The Nebula Awards Showcase. That's cool. J.K. Rowling's The Casual Vacancy. I mentioned Harry Potter. You can see brand new, this one was $19. That's actually probably a discounted rate, yeah. MSRP was $35. It was on sale for $19. I got it for $2. Actually, I think it was actually $2 I paid for this one. Some of the other ones were a lot less. But my wife likes the Harry Potter books especially, and so I thought she might like this other J.K. Rowling book. And if not, I'm okay checking it out. It looks like it might be interesting. So I've got that. I picked up some books for my grandfather, Michael Connolly. The Overlook, The Lincoln Lawyer, and Nine Dragons. All right, he's a big fan of kind of the law drama. I forget the name of the other. John Grisham. John Grisham. He's a big John Grisham fan. So Michael Connelly's kind of these books at least are in that vein, and pick these up for him and gives him stuff to read too. The whole Chronicles of Narnia, nice set in decent condition. All 7 of these books, it was $4 for the 7 books. All right. I know you're like, Kyle, I thought you said that you got these for an average of less than $1 a piece. I did. Like, these ones were only 89 cents. The ones with the red stickers had a big discount on them. So, like, this one had a red sticker for $1, but it was the special of the week, so they're 30% off, all the ones with the red sticker. That type of thing. Okay, this one, Dickensian Whodunits and Jacobean Whodunits. So if you like mysteries, this is just a compilation of mystery stories. So that's cool. Acorna, the Unicorn Girl. Alright, this one looked interesting to me. So I figured I would get it. It's about some guys in space. Find a girl with a horn on her forehead. Now this one's a big book. Look how thick that is. You know, these Robert Jordan books, they're big books. But you compare that to like the Chronicles of Narnia books. Let's see. This one is the same as 3 of those books about. So this one is Foucault's Pendulum. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Foucault can get in contact with me if he doesn't like how I say it, or she. I don't know the book well enough to say. But it looked very interesting. Umberto Eco, a novel by the author of The Name of the Rose. But it looked just crazy. It's all about black market trade. It's a novel, I believe. I don't think that this is... Yes. Yeah, it is a novel. It's not like history, but it's all about black market trades of religious artifacts is the setting for this one. So I thought that sounded really cool and interesting. So I went for it. Let's see what we got here. This is the ones I got from Second and Charles. So I've got David Drake, The Way to Glory. This one's sci-fi. It looks like a standard sci-fi novel from the 90s. Nothing crazy. Nothing fantastic. Ooh, light change. Interrupt, and it's back. All right, L. Ron Hubbard's Mission Earth 9. I've never, or just Mission Earth. I'm not sure what the 9's about there, but it's just called Mission Earth on the side. I haven't read any L. Ron Hubbard stuff. I know he's credited as founding Scientology, but haven't read any of the books. So I just thought that was interesting. Figured I'd pick it up. The Forgotten Realms book, All Shadows Fled. Forgotten Realms, for those who don't know, is a Dungeons & Dragons setting. So I went with that. I always like to pick those up. The Tales of Greek Heroes, I really liked the artwork on the cover. You know, this one's a new book. I think a couple of these other ones were used, but they had a bunch of these, so I think these were all new and just hadn't sold well. And it's the story of Greek myths, but it's told not as a, oh, here's what happened, but it's told like as a narrative. So narrative telling. Tooth and Nail, a novel approach to the SAT. Learn more than 1,300 essential test words by reading a mesmerizing mystery. It just looked interesting. This is the type of book that would have done well for me in school. You know, when I was in middle school or high school, I would have enjoyed this. I see a lot of words that are bolded. I'm guessing those are the words that you need to learn, like languid and sluggish or apathetically, which I can do a lot of stuff apathetically. But it looked interesting, so I picked it up. 100 Smartest Marketing Ideas Ever. Thought that was a good one. And then this one was my favorite. The Big Payback, The History of the Business of Hip Hop. So I was excited to pick this one up. I'm really interested in that side of things. So those are cool. Those were all $1 or less a piece. That specifically was $6 and change, so there was some other discounts applied because that was 7 books. All right, this one from Dollar Tree, Phil Hartman, you might remember me, right? Yeah, you might remember me, The Life and Times of Phil Hartman. If you don't know Phil Hartman, he was a comedian. He did Saturday Night Live, um, talk radio. He seems like a cool guy, and I enjoy reading books about comedians. Ones by comedians I enjoy even more, like Steve Martin and Martin Short and their books. But this one looked really interesting to me, and a brand new hardback book for $1. That's a great price. Mr. Tall, a novella and stories, Tony Earley. This one has a bunch of short stories in it. It's got one story that takes up, more space than the rest. That's the novella, but it also has some other short stories in here. So 2, 4, 6, 7 total stories out of it, like those compilations. The Wolf's Boy, a friendship that changed history. Now these were all just a straight $1 from Dollar Tree. The Prince of Blood, a novel. So a lot of this, I'm judging a book on its cover for a lot of these. And the cover isn't just the picture. The cover, for me, is what people say about it on the back, what we learn about the story on the inside of flap, what we learn about the author on the back flap, what the first page may be like, what kind of genre it fits into. I'm paying attention to all of that when I'm making these judgments on the books. Okay, The Casual Angel. This one looked really interesting. This one looks like a steampunk sci-fi book. I'm not sure exactly if it fits into that world, but it looked pretty cool. And this is not the first book by this guy, though I think it's a standalone book. I don't think it's part of any series. But when an author has multiple books out, then it means they've done something right at least once. All right, The Galaxy Pirates: Hunt for the Pyxis. This one looked cool. This one looked more. I won't even say it's YA. Not even gonna say it's a young adult novel, but maybe even a teen novel. But there's a lot of that stuff that's still good. Just because something was written for somebody who's aged 16 to 20 doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it when you're 30. And then last one I picked up was To Hold the Bridge by Garth Nix, an Old Kingdom novella and other tales. So this one has lots of stuff in it. An Old Kingdom novella, tales of aliens, ghosts, zombies, unicorns, odd jobs, wizards, geeks, legends, knights, ancient spirits, vampires, sidekicks, detectives, big questions, and many other curiosities from the mind. It looked interesting. It looked really interesting. So I picked that one up. Like I said, I got 40 books, if I counted all the way right, for $36. And you got to include tax in the price because that's real money you're spending. So all that to say, I would encourage you to go check out some used bookstores, some resale shops, and some stores. Second Charles is a media store. They've got movies, they got video games, they got collectibles, they got comics, they got lots and lots and lots of books, new and used there. So check out stores like that. The one by me took over the place that went out of business last year that basically did the same thing but on a larger scale. I'm blanking on the name, which is sad because I went there a lot, actually. I liked it. I can't say I went there a lot. It's in Conroe. It took about 30 minutes for me to get there. But it was a really cool store. I'll probably remember the name after I finish this video, and then it'll be too late. But anyways, check out books. Now I've got a lot of stuff to read. I try, it's hard to get through one of these books in a week, but I can very easily get through, 2 of these books in a week. One of these books in a week. I can get through that pretty easily. Some of these bigger ones take a little bit longer. But I have a book in the car that I read. Read at night, take a warm bath, read, sit in a hot tub and read, whatever. Just something like that. Reading is good. It's a good way to learn words. It's a good way for me to relax. It's a good way to kind of work through a bunch of different situations in your mind to see, oh yeah, well, I don't know, I enjoy the fantasy of it, thinking like, yeah, what would I do in that situation, or reading what other people did. Reading's fun. Reading's cool, in my opinion. So that probably means that it's not cool, if I'm thinking it's cool. But um, a lot of people smarter and better than me also enjoy reading. So there's that. All right. Anyways, enough of my ramblings. Thanks for watching me go through these books. But the message here isn't all the cool stuff that I got. The message here is you can get cool stuff too. So go find something and tell me about it. Hit me up. Post some comments on this video. Post some comments on the TalkingGeek.com. Message me. Shoot me something on Twitter or Instagram at the Kyle Souza in both those places. Facebook page for the Talking Geek. And my blog is thetalkinggeek.com. Well, thanks for checking this out. I appreciate it.